Hi, Ashira Star Goddess. Okay, so I'm on my phone camera, so bear with me. I'm trying to upload another video on my iPad, and I have a camera. I have a Canon, but it's an old school Canon, and it's not HD, and it's okay, but I don't like recording videos on it, so I have to do them on my phone and my iPad. I still have on my Halloween makeup, but I took the hat off. So if y'all are wondering why I look so made up today, I wear like lots of makeup daily, but so maybe it's no difference to you. But I kind of tried to do a little bit darker and more witchy today. But yeah, I just want to make a video to talk to you guys. It's almost like a vlog about like a lot of people don't know the backstory of like how people became witches or how they became interested in being a witch or into witchcraft. But mine goes way back to like before I knew, I don't know, before I knew anything. I always knew that I was different. I think I started really believing in otherworldly things when I was 3 years old. And I knew I was always different. I knew I saw things out of the ordinary. I knew that I had special abilities. I knew that, I just knew things that I shouldn't have known. Let's just say that. I was very intuitive as a child. Astral travel, anything that was witchy attracted me. Anything that was like had to do with nature, anything that had to do with magic, spells. I would watch certain movies, and I would be rooting for, the person doing magic. I was like, all of my Halloween costumes from when I was a kid have always been like witch, magician. I think one year I was, what was I? I was I've been a vampire a few times, but a witch, always, like I go back to witch. And I started really getting into witchcraft when I was around in the 5th grade. This is when I started reading about it. Maybe a little bit younger, but it was more fiction. But when I really started learning witchcraft, I was probably in the 5th or 6th grade, when I got my first book of spells. And when I was reading the book, I forgot the name of it, but I used to do some of these things naturally. So I was like, well, maybe I was already a witch, or a witch in a former life, or it's just a natural thing for women. I don't know. So sorry on my computer. But the more that I read about it, the more spells that I read, the more things that I learned, I had already knew, just for no reason. I knew these things. I felt them all the time. So my first few spells were like weathermancy, controlling the weather, making the wind blow, making it rain, and I would do these with my brother and my friends, my best friend. And we were just like all thinking, just for fun, right? There was this store. It was like a witchy store across the freeway from where I lived. It was probably about 2 miles walking. 2 miles any distance, but I didn't have a car. So me and a bunch of my, like maybe 3 friends and my brother, we decided that we were going to walk there and look around and buy something, perhaps, if we saw something cool. So, it's a long journey to kids, it's a long walk. And so we finally get there, we cross like the intersection of the feeder and the freeway, and that was like scary to us. But we finally get there, and it's a little shop. I'm not going to name the name of it, but because it's not there anymore. They moved and got really big. But when we got into the shop, there was books and candles and crystals and all these like fabulous things. And I was in heaven. I was like, this is it. I felt drawn to all of these types of things, and especially to the books. Like, I'm really drawn to knowledge and learning. I think I bought a book as well when I did go. The crystals were way out of my price range because I was only a kid. And it probably still would have been out of my price range, the one that I really wanted as an adult. But it, kind of got me started on that path to, exploring. I bought some tarot cards. I started doing tarot readings at lunch during my lunch break in middle school. I had the little book though, but I was learning. At least I was learning. And I've always been this way all throughout high school. I always wore like black clothes. I wasn't goth or anything. I just like, my hair is naturally black. I like black because it's slimming. I wasn't the slimmest person. It matched. I didn't have to think about what matched and what colors to wear that day. And plus, that adolescent phase. But I made a few friends through high school that were into it as well. Some that weren't. There was this one guy who used to call me Morticia. I was called La Witchy because my name is similar to that, my real name. And lo and behold, I did grow up to become a mortician, y'all. I did, and a witch. So the funny thing is, I didn't mind the nickname. It didn't bother me at all because I was very open about, who I was. And I just didn't go around telling people, if you ask, if you sit next to me and you just glance over to see what I'm reading, then you could figure it out. But I don't just go around telling people. So I've been this way since I was in elementary school, and I'm probably going to be this way till I die. Or actually, until I transition to the other side. So a lot of people say, well, this is a new channel. Yeah, I have been on YouTube since 2009 on other channels doing more spiritual things and versus witchy things, because at that moment in my life, I didn't have my own space to be and have like the things that how I wanted it. So I wasn't going to, really dive into that side on YouTube until I was ready. And, being married to someone that's not like you is very difficult in the beginning. Like, we never discussed religion. And so it wasn't a part of our lives. But now we both have our own individual spiritualities, and we're cool with it. So that works out really good. I have my own witchy room. I can do whatever I want. And I do have an altar out here for Halloween and Samhain and Dia de los Muertos and All Saints and All Souls Day. I have it going. I try to include whoever wants to be included. And, they have begun to understand that there's the rumors and the hearsay about, being a witch and doing this and doing that. It's all false. They've realized that it's just a spiritual, I call it a spiritual technology. I actually classify myself as a spiritual alchemist. And it, magic, alchemy, spirituality, all of those things used to go together, in the ancient times. And we've tried to separate everything into these little subsections, and we want to label and do all of this, to people. And, some people will call me a Wiccan, and I'm not Wiccan. And no offense to Wiccans, the first book that I read was a Wiccan book. And I learned a lot from Wicca. I learn a lot from every type of magic. I'm an eclectic. I call myself an eclectic. If I have to label myself any type of witch, I'm going to say I'm an eclectic witch. My spirituality is spiritual alchemist. Or, you know, so my deities are ancient deities. They go back to Kemet, ancient Egypt. I also work with Archangel Michael, which goes way back. And Michael is not specified to any religion. In fact, most people who study the occult, they didn't know anything about Michael until they started learning about the occult. Like in the Bible, there's very little about Michael. In the occult knowledge, there's a lot about Michael. In fact, he is over most of the occult knowledge. Like if you really research, if you're into angels, it's not religious at all. You don't have to be Christian to be into angels. You don't have to even be religious to be into angels. They are just like the deities that people work with. They're beings and entities and higher powers. So that's another thing to remember. Like a lot of people get confused. Well, I thought you were a witch. Why do you have angels? You know, why do you have Michael? And you don't really want to be like, oh, I got to teach this person something. You just say, well, Michael's for everyone. You know, that's what I say. Michael's for everyone. And they'll get it. They'll understand it. And it'll actually, you know, spark some interest in them. And maybe they'll want to go learn something. But yes, so I've been on this path for most of my life. There have been times when I haven't been so active in doing certain things, you know, especially when I was younger. When I was working 14 hours a day, I wasn't. But I've always had some type of altar or some type of candles and incense and books that I was reading at the time. I just wasn't practicing as much. So when my life slowed down, like when I got married and got pregnant, and my life started to slow down to a pace where I could get back into doing what I used to do when I had the time, it kind of just came back and gotten a lot better. More knowledge. The internet's out now. Like when I first started, no internet, y'all. We had to go to the library. We had to like find books and order books and stuff like that from catalogs. Man, I'm old. Anyway, so now that, you know, all this technology has sprang, it's so much easier now, and especially to be friends with other people who, you know, are like you. So I just want to put this little quick video out there to let people know who I am, how long I've been this way, my little backstory, if you don't know. And I'll do some more like here and there so y'all can kind of get a glimpse into who I am. So I thank y'all for watching. Happy Halloween, happy Samhain. If y'all haven't seen my other video where I'm dressed up, or when I have my hat on, I'll put it on for you. Okay, bye, blessings.